Hello, I'm Dr. Charles Russo. Thank you very much for having me at the IAFIE 2026 conference. Today, topic that I'll be speaking on, of course, is the topic of one of my most recent publications, Safeguarding Analytical Integrity. And now we have in the age of AI, which is the topic as well for this discussion, is really looking at how are we as intelligence practitioners, as intelligence analyst educators, how are we looking at this from the aspect of critical thinking? Now, big buzzword, isn't it? Critical thinking, that's what we hear about. But are we really teaching critical thinking? When we talk about critical thinking, are we questioning where maybe information comes from, the sourcing? But do we, in the politicalization of intelligence, are we asking about the analysts' metacognition? Now, it's not talking that we're asking the question of their political viewpoints, but you do have to know which way you are thinking about a problem set, your perspective, your experiences, your history, it is something about, we bring in this metacognition, but we don't teach it. We don't, especially in this world of AI, when we have AI conducting much of the research, where do we see in education that we're utilizing the Socratic method? Are we asking our students? Yes, we can say we want to minimize AI in the, we don't want them to write the whole paper, or that we are looking at the analytical side, how to write, how to think. We're not. We lack the philosophical, theoretical frameworks that we should be teaching students to make AI a tool, something to help it along the way, meaning your thinking. Can it help with research questions? Yes, but it shouldn't be writing everything for you, right? It shouldn't be doing all the heavy lifting. Can it help you format or think about which direction you want to go? It's about the prompting. But we're not teaching that in this stage of AI. And so therefore, the integrity that the analyst has is decreased or even fully diminished, because they're just relying on it to do a bulk of the work. And that's unfortunate that we have intelligence community partners that are looking at how fast, how far do we get the volumes of information taken into account. Can it help us? Yes, it can. Of course, it's a large language model. It uses vast data sets, but it cannot do the thinking for you, right? It cannot do the thinking that an analyst, a human, has. So I don't think, as an analyst professional myself, AI is not going to take over. It should be looked at as, yes, a co-facilitator, one that helps with reasoning. You, as the human, still get to do much of the reasoning, much of the so what for, why is this? Let's go down this rabbit hole. See, now you can actually have the time, in my humble opinion, utilizing AI for what it can do, the strengths, and minimizing the weaknesses of having it do the work for you, is being able to go down those rabbit holes of, okay, so you found this information. And of course, again, it's the prompt. How well are we prompting it to get the information? Are we just asking it a simple question? It can do the complexities of the problem. See, it can't really solve the problem, It can give you information for you to utilize to maybe help solve your problem, but it doesn't have the human cognitive abilities. And that's something else that we talk about, or we really don't talk about, is do students that we're trying to teach have the cognitive abilities? Do they have the ability to think? Yes, we're human. We all have some ability to think, but we don't, as professors, really look at the integrity of somebody's thinking. How do we point out, and this is where again your personal characteristics, your theoretical frameworks as a human, your cognitive bias are all formulated by your lived experiences, by your environment. And yes, we've met people that you know cannot think. They can do a good job at something, but they cannot think. They don't take the time. And then where is the philosophy brought in? We can only do so much of utilizing questions and picking apart the way that they write something down. Are we doing our part as faculty? But then you also have to ask the student. And this is where I'm a big proponent of philosophy. Why are we not? It's a community of inquiry, just like the intelligence community. We want to know information in order to safeguard our democracy. I mean, it's national security, it's homeland security. Where's the threat? What is the level of threat? Is it going to go away? How do we make it go away? What's the next up and coming? What do we need to be thinking about down the road? It's a lot of information to be thinking about, right? But when we don't do the difficult deep dive in information, we rarely attach any integrity to it. Well, we attach emotion. This is where I tell students, get rid of the words opinion, beliefs. Those are emotional words. They don't attach truth and fact. And truth and fact, truth is subjective, because one person's truth may not necessarily be another. But when we talk about empirical fact, so are we giving the tools in this day and age to students? I have many students who continue to this day to say, I'm scared of using AI, or my job refuses to let me use AI. But it still should not stop you as an individual from utilizing and understanding a tool that can help you. Use it for what it was meant for. It's not to take over our human thought process. It is meant to be a co-facilitator. Can it help us think better? I'm still a proponent of books. I very rarely, when I research and I write and I publish, has it just come from very specific online. I try to give my audience the ability to know where I got information from. But I also have to read, not just online stuff, not just what AI can give me, but go back in history to books that are 100 years old on such things as logic, rhetoric, critical thinking itself, theories. How much of us as in professors and professionals, when was the last time you took up a philosophical book? Are you yourself a philosopher? These are things that we all need to really think about going forward. So with that, this is again just a very small part of the talks that I am in, discussions I'll be in during this conference. I look forward to many of you either reaching out on Substack or through other mediums, or emailing me, or even here at the conference. Again, I really love being here. I love being able to interact. I've met many people that have the same frame of mind. This conference is about AI and its innovation and cybersecurity, where does it fit in to our national security, our homeland security? There are 20 different countries at this conference, and I look forward to meeting many of those individuals and getting a perspective of what they see within their institutions or even within their intelligence communities. With that, thank you very much. I'm Dr. Charles Russo. You take care.